Now, our next guest, I'm very excited for because last week I finally got to meet her in person as well at ATTD. I'm talking about Greta Ehlers, one of my favorite people on the diabetes internet. And I follow her and saw that she was going through something that I went through a couple of years ago when I switched to my pump from MDI. Diabetes tech is an issue really close to everyone's heart, but at the same time, we all feel like we shouldn't push it on people. We should make sure that everyone has access to diabetes tech, but we shouldn't push people towards these things. It's not for everyone, but Greta made the decision for herself. She wanted to move on from MDI and try an insulin pump. And Greta, tell us about that experience.
Hello everyone, I'm really glad to be here, and it was so lovely meeting some of you in person, including you, Sophie, last week. So yes, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes actually 19 or 18 years ago. And I've always only ever been on MDI up until, I think, February. And I've always been really happy on MDI. I never felt like I had to switch to a pump. And then I met someone from Medtronic at a Swiss conference here in Switzerland. And he was just curious why I'm still on MDI, because people are not in Switzerland. I feel like a lot of people who do have type 1 are using a pump. And I said to him that I've just really been I've never really considered it because I've always been happy on MDI and I didn't want to commit myself to a pump. I know it's a bit different depending on where you are from, but I think in Switzerland, you sign a 4-year contract, and I didn't even know whether I liked it because I've been really happy on my pens. So I got a trial pump for 2 months, I think, and he told me you can try it out, and if you don't like it, you can feel free to go back to your beloved pens. So I tried it. I did really like it, and yes, now it's my 3rd month on my pump and I'm really happy. It's been a huge change. It's been really, really frustrating, especially the first 2 weeks. But I actually do feel like it makes my life, and especially my nights, a lot easier.
Oh, I can imagine. Tell us, you said it was frustrating in the beginning. What was that like? And do you maybe have any tips for people who are about to make this change? Tips that I would have loved to have heard beforehand?
Yes, I think the most frustrating part was like trying to figure out my basal rate. And I remember the first night it was 10 p.m., 10 in the night in Switzerland. And I don't know if you've ever been to Switzerland, basically all the supermarkets are closed. And I was going really, really low. So my roommate went to the central train station and got me like 3 or 4 like these huge boxes of Twix because we were both afraid that during the night it just didn't go up. And it was like my 2nd day on the pump and I was just completely overwhelmed. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen my SOS stories asking for advice because it was a huge change and it took me a lot of patience. And I guess that's basically my biggest tip, to just, it takes time, give it time. And it's totally normal and totally fine if it doesn't work from day one.
Yeah, I do follow you on Instagram. I know how many of those Twix you had to eat throughout that night. So I remember it being the exact opposite for me, but that just goes to show you how individual we all are and how important it is to give time when it comes to tech and really see if it fits. Maybe it does with some time, maybe it doesn't, but that's all fine. Thank you so much for sharing that, Greta. I think that's very helpful for everyone who's going to embark on that specific journey anytime soon.
Yes, and it's also, I think, really important to remember that if you try it, it doesn't really only apply to a pump, it can really apply to anything. And if you don't like it, it's fine. Just because if all your friends with diabetes are on a pump doesn't mean that you have to like it. So we're all very individual, and the way we like to manage our diabetes is very individual as well.
I agree 100%. Thank you for that take-home message, Greta.